What does it mean to be a speaker? Is it something more than just talking from a stage, passing on information? Entering the stage is accompanied by feelings that mean much more to me. I am preparing text. I am creating stories to inspire, show the listeners a topic known to them in a completely different light. Or simply amuse them and get them away from reality for a while. I'm looking for inspirations in things I see on daily basis. Happiness of a little child, how his parents love him. To them, their kid means the whole world. A conversation with a lady at a magazine stand. Stopping and listening to a street musician that devoted his whole life to his passion. Eye contact with a beautiful girl that I pass on the street. Using words, I capture these elusive moments on paper to be able to share them later with listeners. Before I enter the room, there's only darkness. Everything lacks meaning. Before I step in front of people, there are only words written down on a sheet of paper. An empty room, just like the world before God conceived it. When the lights are lit and the room begins to fill up with people, that's when the simplest things begin to shine and become a new light for the audience. You are there to create a new world, make the characters alive so they become personalities with a story, with essence and with dreams. You are there to give those words on a sheet of paper a meaning. Exactly in that moment, you realize that you were made to do this. You were made to be a speaker.
Right. Very good evening to you, fellow Toastmasters, and a very good evening to you, our guests. My name is Ntefupe, and I am the Sergeant at Arms. My role is to call the meeting into order and give you protocol for this meeting. If I may please ask you to ensure that you are muted throughout the meeting unless you are called on to the virtual podium or you are clapping for somebody. Mr. President, we have started slightly late due to circumstances beyond us. I would like to now call the meeting into order and yield the control over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Madam SAA, and indeed, good evening to all of you fellow Toastmasters, guests, and visitors. I am Sibongiseni Mkolozeli, Club President of Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. We have all heard that we have a jam-packed program with about 3 speakers, possibly 4. So I think I won't be long in terms of my introduction because we also have table topics. But I am very happy to see that we have a lot of people already in the room. We might end up probably ending the meeting with over 20 participants in this call. So all I could like to say is please feel at home, please relax, enjoy yourself as much as you can because a Toastmasters meeting, if it's not fun, then it does not give the vibes of Toastmasters. We believe at Toastmasters will learn best during moments of enjoyment. Hence, we believe that, or we encourage you to have fun as much as you can. At this point, since our Madam SAA has declared the meeting open, I'll hand control back to her as she will be wearing a different hat this time as our Toastmaster of the evening, aka MC or Program Director, to run us through from the beginning till the end of this meeting. Without further ado, over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you once more, Mr. President. And as the President has said, I now take off my cap as the SAA Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to our big night at the movies. I am the Toastmaster of the evening. My name is Ndlefupe, and tonight I will be your red carpet guide through a world of inspiration, transformation, and a little cinematic magic. As they say in The Greatest Showman, the noblest art is of making others happy. And that's exactly what we are going to do tonight. Like a movie director, my role is to guide the flow, introduce our stars, yes, you speakers and other role players, and to ensure the plot moves smoothly. So, light, camera, now let's cue the team. First up, I would like to call on the General Evaluator, Madam Anna Costa, to introduce her team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. It is my honor to be General Evaluator for tonight. My name is Anna Costa, and I will be conducting the Oscar-winning evaluation portion of our meeting. Everyone and each participant are going to be evaluated, whether you speak, whether you don't. My portion is responsible for all the participants except for the public speaking portion, which is headed by our special speakers evaluators. So they will be doing that evaluation this evening. Behind me is a wonderful team. I've got 2 team members, our grammarian and doubling up as our counter. So that's double Oscar winning role, as well as our timer. So without further ado, I will be popping in again towards the end when called upon to represent my role, which is to report to you. But in the interest of time saving, I'll hand you over to our grammarian and our counter, and I request that Male in turn turns over to the timer, Dr. Sibowu, who's our president. Thanks so much. Over to you, Madam Grammarian and our counter.
Perfect. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, visitors, and guests. My name is Male, and tonight I'm doubling up as the grammarian and our counter. As the grammarian, my role is to listen to speakers, carefully listening to the use of language. I will be taking note of improper use of language, as well as outstanding words and quotes or sayings, so please do dazzle us. It is also my duty tonight to introduce the word of the evening. And for tonight's meeting, the word is jubilant, which means feeling or expressing great joy, happiness, or triumph. An example of using this word is after finally stepping out of her comfort zone and delivering her first speech, she felt absolutely jubilant, like she had burst through her own bubble of fear. Each of the speakers are encouraged to please use the word of the evening. I will give the grammarian's report when I am called upon towards the end of the meeting. And coming to my second role as the R counter, I will be listening to the use of crutch words. These are filler words such as well, so, like, and any other repeated words. And I will come back towards the end to also give an R counter report. I hand over now to our timer. Thank you very much.
I am not sure if I'm audible to everyone. If I am, I'll continue with my role. I will be the timer for this meeting this evening. And as we say at Toastmasters, time is very important. I will be timing all the formal speeches, which are 5 to 7 minutes. And at 5 minutes, watch me, I'll have my video on. I will raise my green card. And at 6 minutes, I will raise my yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise my red card. I will also be timing the icebreakers. The icebreaker or speech will be 4 to 6 minutes long. At 4 minutes, I will raise my green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise my yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I will raise my red card. I will also be timing the evaluations that will be taking place. They've got a maximum of 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise my green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I will raise my yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise my red card. We do have the table topics this evening. They will also be timed. They've got a maximum of 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise my green cards. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow cards. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the green cards. Thank you very much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Madam Tama Kabo. And that was our role players introducing themselves. Thank you so much. And over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator of the evening. I am feeling rather jubilant. As exhausted as I am feeling very jubilant tonight. Now, to get the show rolling, I would like to call on the very first evaluator. First evaluator who will be evaluating Ayanda Mpinyelwa is Abhijit Roy.
To introduce myself, I'm Distinguished Toastmaster Abhijit, all the way from District 124 in India, currently serving as the Area D4 Director. Out there, love to speak in public, a great communicator, great storyteller, and have been in Toastmaster for a little over 9 years now at a stretch without even a single stop. Quite enthusiastic and passionate about coming over and attending meetings. And today also, I'm really looking forward for a great enriching experience. Speech of the Toastmasters journey, which is level 1, project 1, an icebreaker speech. And for everyone to understand what an icebreaker speech is all about, an icebreaker speech is a speech which the speaker delivers to learn the basic structure of public speaking, as well as to introduce himself or herself to the audience. I wish Toastmaster and all the very best. The timing for the speech is 4 to 6 minutes. And as part of a custom, every Toastmaster delivering an icebreaker speech is given a round of virtual applause, as it's a virtual setup. And we would make sure that Toastmaster Ayanda gets the honors of delivering the icebreaker speech. So all the very best. And with that, over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Zentley.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. And now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, please help me welcome Toastmaster Ayanda Mpinyelwa, who is delivering his icebreaker with the title, They Want to Know You Better. We sure do want to know you better, Ayanda. Please take the virtual stage.
Indeed, they want to know you better. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, I hope to take you on a journey that begins in the quiet hills of Kwamachibi village under the humble town of Ekonce in the Eastern Cape. That's where a young boy was born. He was named Ayanda Mpinyelwa. That's me. I am the second of 4 children, raised by 2 loving parents who are still alive and continue to inspire me. I completed both primary and high school right there in the village, surrounded by cows and dusty roads. After matriculating, life pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I moved to Port Elizabeth to further my studies. It was my first time in a big city. I was a village boy with wide eyes and a tight budget, but I survived. In fact, I conquered. I completed my post-metric studies in record time. In 2002, I found myself in East London job hunting, and I eventually got a temporary job at McDonald's flipping the burgers in the kitchen. I still remember the phrases from our team leaders. Can I please have 5 cheeseburgers? And we would shout in chorus, 5 cheeseburgers, thank you. It was fast, hot, and greasy, but it was the beginning of something bigger. The following year, I packed my bags and boarded a city to Johannesburg. I arrived at Park Station at 3 a.m., a cold wind of the city biting my face. The city was alive, loud, and bright. I had never seen anything like it before. Moving forward today, I am proud to say I am currently working as a middle manager for the Department of Gauteng Health. I am married to an incredible woman who still believes in me more than I sometimes believe in myself. We have some handsome boy, 2 beautiful daughters. I adore them all, and yes, their mother too. Very jubilant, Ayanda having a son. Boom, in 2008, my son was diagnosed with autism. A new chapter began. I became a parent of a child with special needs. It was unfamiliar and challenging. That is a speech for another day. Again, in 2021, I faced another mountain. I was diagnosed with acoustic neuroma, a benign but a large brain tumor. It shook me, but it didn't break me. Life continues. And here I am today standing before you as a proud member of Visionary Toastmasters Club. My goal is to grow, improve my English vocabulary, to communicate better, to lead with clarity, and above all, to share stories that matters. I was encouraged by my wife, Dr. Sibongiseni, and a long time who first introduced me to Toastmasters years ago. I finally clicked on a Toastmasters Zoom link from her WhatsApp profile picture. And that, fellow Toastmasters, was the beginning of another beautiful journey. Ayanda is very jubilant today for the opportunity given to him to present his first speech, and he is looking forward to do his next speech. In conclusion, allow me to share one quote that speaks to my heart. One day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you are going through now and will become part of someone else's survival, author unknown. I believe I've started telling mine, and I hope it will inspire yours. Thank you and good evening.
Wow. Can we please unmute and give Ayanda a round of applause for that beautiful icebreaker?
Wow.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ayanda. I was not sure if I wanted to celebrate and be jubilant with you or I should carry on crying. As a result, I literally grabbed my tissue because I could relate so much to a lot of what you were sharing. Congratulations, well done on your first speech, and I am very happy that you have the kind of support that you have at home. I am happy that you overcame your challenges, and thank you so much for inspiring the rest of us. Our next evaluator will be evaluating Toastmaster Walter Sono. Walter is doing his icebreaker. Just want to make sure on the chat. I do apologize. Under the pathway dynamic leadership. This is Walter's first project under the pathway. Our evaluator will be Toastmaster Dr. Sibongiseni Kolozeli. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure this evening to evaluate Walter Sono in his icebreaker speech. So the purpose, as we have heard in the previous speech, of an icebreaker is twofold. Number one is for Walter or a member to basically learn a basic structure of a speech, usually a structure or a simple structure of a speech. You have an introduction, you have a body, and you have an end or a conclusion. And I love what Ayanda did in terms of saying in conclusion, so we know he basically did his homework. So that's the first part. Know the basic structure of a speech, beginning, middle, or end, or introduction, body, and conclusion. Secondly, is for the member or for Walter to introduce himself to the members of Toastmasters. So that's basically it. I wish you, Walter, all the best. Maybe before you take the center stage, I would like to share this quick anecdote with you. When I did my first icebreaker, one of my mentors asked me, "How did that feel?" And I remember using the word of the day today, and I said I felt jubilant, meaning triumphant and free, because I had so much fun delivering my icebreaker. So I wish you all the best. I wish you can also say the same after icebreaker. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Woniseni. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please do help me welcome our second speaker, Toastmaster Walter Sono, with the speech title, Leadership is Not a Title. Walter, please take the virtual stage.
A leader is not someone that only has a title, but someone that knows the way, goes the way, and helps people find the way. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, and of course, our distinguished guests. Tonight, I'd like to share with you my journey in this leadership, the things that I'm learning, and how I first started. You see, I always had a difficult relationship with leadership. I always believe that in order to be a leader, you need to have a title. People need to recognize you by your title. And I was someone that wanted to work alone because it was difficult for me to work with people without me being assigned a title over them. And this started even in university. In university, I was the guy that liked to do the teamwork by myself. I always chosen the people that were a little bit lazy to be on my team because that way they will just give the work to me and I'll do it myself without having to sit down and coordinate and possibly running the risk of getting a negative mark. So I always chose people that could just listen to what I told without having to argue with them. It wasn't until later when I started working that I found that this was a disaster. I shouldn't have done this. I should learn the ways on how to properly lead people. And this became very evident when I finally got a position where I had to work with 14 interns. I was assigned to be a leader of them. I'm software engineer, and they were coming from college, out of college, and now they're interns, and they're going to be under my supervision. And I say, okay, no problem. But at the same time, I was on a different team. But this team, I wasn't the leader. Everybody in the team was equal, even though I had more experience over them, but I wasn't given a title. We had a manager, and we were working together. When the manager wasn't around, nobody took the lead because nobody recognized other people as leaders. And the project didn't go quite well as expected. And my manager came to me and asked me, "Walter, can you tell me how the project is going? Well, I said, yeah, it's going very well. At least in my part, I've done my work. So I told him, yes, I've done my part. I'm just waiting for the other guy to do his part. And I find that he has some difficulties. And he told me, okay, but what are you doing to solve that? I said, well, I'm expecting you to tell him. And he looked at me with a very disappointed look in his face. And he said, no, Walter, that's not what I was expecting. How, if you cannot manage these 3 people right here, how are you going to manage those 14 interns? I told them, well, that's easy because they know that I'm their leader. He said, no, Walter, that's not the type of leader that I want you to be. You see, I want you to be a boss. I want you to be a leader. And that starts by influence and not by title. At that moment, my jaw just dropped because I knew that he was right. I needed to do something in this work with these people in order to make the project go forward, even though I wasn't given an official title because I was the more experienced there and he was expecting me to perform this role. I had to do something. Unfortunately or fortunately, I found another job which was much better. But in this position, the things were quite different because now I'm working as a consultant for a government company, institution. And as a consultant, you do not have authority over no one. You are just there to advise. Even though you have the experience, but you don't have an authority. And working with the government is very, very, very challenging because people look at you like you are the one that knows everything. You are the one that is coming here telling us to do things. You are the one that supposedly are receiving more money than we are. So why don't you do all the work? But I'm not there to do the work. I'm there to advise people to do the work because after all, even though I could do the work, the impact that I can have is minimal compared to the impact that we can all have. So my job is to know the way, show the way, and take people with me through this. Fortunately, I found Toastmasters. Although I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to improve my fluency in English as well as my ability to communicate in public with confidence, I found that Toastmasters has a knowledge on leadership that is the type of knowledge that I'm looking for. A leader that leads by example. A leader that is a servant leader. A leader that inspires, that motivates, that shows the way and helps people go through that way. Because of this, I decided to become the Vice President of Education and now the President of my club. I'm still learning, but just like Martin Luther King said, I can see the promised land. Thank you, and back to your Toastmaster of the day.
Woo-hoo! Thank you so much, Walter, for that very inspiring speech. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please unmute and please give Walter a round of applause.
Well done, Walter.
Walter, I am certain that if we had leaders like yourself taking the reins in Africa, Africa would be a much better place. Now, not to be politically incorrect, I will move on to the next role player. Walter's speech reminded me of the meeting that I joined last night, one of the Toastmasters clubs. One of the Toastmasters was giving her speech last night was Sonia Morele, and her title or the title of her speech was Quiet Power, Leading with Presence, Not Volume. Walter, as you were giving your speech, that reminded me exactly of what she was saying, that sometimes it is not how loud you speak as a leader, but the impact, and secondly, how you respect and gain trust of the people that you lead. You did say in your opening that The leader knows the way. I do apologize if I do butcher your words. Shows the way and takes the way. A true servant. Kalalelo, I would like to check if you have received the necessary information before I ask you to introduce your role as well as before I ask you to introduce the speaker and what the speaker will be speaking on.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my speech is entitled "From Posting to Purpose." It's under level 4 elective. So the elective is building a social media presence. It's a 5 to 7 minutes speech. That's speech length. The purpose of the speech is for the member to apply their understanding of social media to enhance and establish an established or new social media presence. The purpose of this speech is for the member also to share some aspects of their experience establishing or enhancing a social media presence. Yeah, so that would be the speech objectives. Okay, thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, let me take you back a few years. I was scrolling through my social media and I realized something. My feed was full. Full of photos, full of posts, full of opinions. But when I looked deeper, I asked myself, what does any of this actually mean? Was I sharing with intention, or was I simply pressing posts out of habit? That moment sparked a journey that brought me here today, moving from posting to purpose. It's a shift that changed how I interact online, and it's one that this project helped bring to life. Social media used to be about spontaneity. We would share our photo of our morning coffee, post a funny meme, and call it a day. But today, the stakes are higher. Social media has become a powerful tool for influence, visibility, and connection. When we post with a purpose, our words don't just sit there, they move people, they shape perceptions, and they open doors. One of the first things that I had to do was to ask myself a hard question. What do I stand for online? Not what I like, but what I want to be known for. That's when I discovered the concept of a personal brand. It's not just a logo or a tagline, but it's emotional. It's the emotional connection others feel when they come across your name. For me, I realized I wanted to be seen as someone who empowers others, someone who shares knowledge, builds confidence, and uplifts. With that clarity, I changed the way I posted. I stopped sharing just for the sake of being seen, and I started sharing to serve. I wrote short reflections on communication, posted tips on emerging professionals, and even shared behind the scenes lessons I learned preparing for speeches like this one. I began to speak to a specific audience and they started listening. But building a presence isn't just about pushing content out into the world. It's about creating a conversation. I began commenting on others' posts more thoughtfully, responding to people who engaged with mine, and reaching out to those whose work I admired. And slowly, my circle grew, not just in numbers, but in connection. These weren't just followers. These were people who I share my values, people I could learn from and grow with. Of course, with greater visibility comes with greater responsibility. This project reminded me of the importance of safeguarding my privacy. I stopped geotagging every location. I avoided oversharing family moments and stayed cautious about posting in real time. The internet never forgets. No, no, no. And when you are building something meaningful, every piece of content becomes part of your legacy. And then there's the matter of tone, how we speak online. It's easy to fall into the trap of sarcasm, especially when you're trying to be clever. But I learned that clarity beats cleverness, and kindness always wins. I made a conscious decision to keep my content positive, encouraging, and inclusive. I can't control how others respond, but I can control how I contribute. Over the course of this project, my mindset shifted. I began to see each post not as an obligation, but as an opportunity. Every time I hit share, I now ask, is this aligned with who I am and what I stand for? Will this help someone, even in the tiniest of ways? If the answer is yes, I post it. If it's not, I let it go. Today, I'm not just building a social media presence, I'm building a purpose-driven platform, one post at a time. So here's my invitation to you all. The next time you post, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what's the purpose behind this? Because when you post with purpose, you don't just add to the noise. You create something meaningful, something memorable, and something that might just make a difference in someone's life. From posting to purpose, that's not just a catchy phrase. It's a powerful transformation, and it begins with you. Thank you.
Woohoo! Please unmute everyone.
Well done, spoken.
Woo!
Thank you so much, Wante, for
Bandole.
that information. Before I post tomorrow or tonight, for that matter, I will pause and think about what I'm posting. I love the fact that you speak about how you grew from posting spontaneously to being more intentional about what you do post. Especially these days, companies actually do look through your social media and decide whether they will hire you or not. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, well, your future customers might be judging you based on your post. I don't know if there's anyone who knows Dominic. Dominic is very popular on TikTok, and every now and then we hear stories of Dominic reporting people who are homophobic to their bosses to a point where they get fired. So, yes, correct. When we post, we need to remember that social media never forgets. Thank you very much for that very insightful speech, Walter. I sure will be following you, and I hope you are welcome or open to mentoring me on social media. Our last speaker for the day is on the call. I am going to ask Mr. President, just to be sure, are you still evaluating our fourth speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So over to you. Please introduce the objectives of the fourth speaker.
All right, without further delays, Madam SAA, thank you, everyone. for staying with us to this point in our meeting. So I will be happy also to evaluate Nqobile Dube in this meeting. It's one of the longest speeches you'll witness tonight, probably the longest one. Nqobile, the purpose of her speech is for her to practice facilitating an online meeting or leading a webinar. Again, the purpose of Nqobile's speech is to practice facilitating an online meeting or leading a webinar. Good luck to you, Nqobile, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sibongiseni. And now, Nqobile Dube, if you may take the virtual stage with your title, the speech title, Compliance is the Name of the Game. Nqobile, please take the virtual stage.
20 to 25 minutes, Madam Timer, I see your hand is up. Probably want to ask that question.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nqobile is a he. I'll be taking you on a presentation entitled Compliance is the Name of the Game. I had prepared a few slides, so I'll be sharing them here and there. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right. Can you see my screen? Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So my name is Nqobile Dube. I'm going to be teaching you guys today or delivering a speech entitled Compliance is the Name of the Game. You need to understand that all of us here, one way or the other, we are either professionals or business people. I'm Toastmaster Nqobile Dube, VPPR for Black Diamonds, the home of professionals and business people. For all of us in here, one way or the other, we're either professionals or business people. And in the world of business, there is what you call compliance. And in a world where compliance has been demanded so much, there's a tendency for business people to try and avoid this subject of compliance. But one thing that I want you to understand is that compliance is the name of the game. Compliance is the game changer. Compliance is crucial for individuals and businesses to avoid penalties and fines and reputational damage. In Zimbabwe or any other country, understanding tax regulations and compliance requirements is essential. So I want you to understand that if you are doing business right now, like for you guys who are in South Africa, SARS is important for you to respect the regulations and compliance if you're going to remain relevant in business. It may be complicated, it may be difficult, but make it a point that you respect the issues of compliance, because if you don't respect the issues of compliance, you'll be out of business in a very short space of time. So in light of that, I've come up with what I call 10 misconceptions that make it difficult for people to comply in business. I'm saying to you guys 10 misconceptions that affect people from being compliant. So we're going to start off with number one. There's always this tendency that people say, I am too small to comply. Listen, my friend, size does not matter. Compliance is essential for all businesses of all sizes. So you may say to yourself, I've got a small business, I've got my small chisanyama, I've got my small car wash. I don't need to follow the regulations. But from my understanding and from my experience as a compliance officer, as a compliance specialist, is that size does not matter. You may think you are too small, you may think you are irrelevant, but you need to comply. Sorry about that. And then the second one is the one that says, I will pay them off. Bribes aren't the answer. Paying bribes can lead to more problems, not solutions. So there's always this tendency when people are trading or doing business, where they think that I can pay a bribe. If I pay a bribe, I am safe. But listen, choose to comply. That's the ethical and that's the most proper thing to do. And then the third misconception that is there when it comes to the issue of compliance is that people tend to feel that regulatory authorities are difficult people. Uh, the authorities aren't impossible. While dealing with authorities can be challenging, compliance can simplify the process. So whenever you choose to comply, you are saving yourself from always running away from the authorities when they appear. Just imagine if you're running a Chisanyama business and the authorities appear and you're now picking up your price tags and you're throwing them into the car and running around because you're afraid of being caught. Why put yourself under such stress? Just do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you save yourself from a lot of problems. You'll have a peaceful life and you'll have a very good business that is not frustrated by authorities chasing after you. These people are not being difficult. They just want you to do the right thing. And as a reputable Toastmaster, reputable professional, just do the right thing and you'll save your business from a lot of problems. Number 4, I don't have time for these tax things. I want you to understand one thing. Time management, prioritizing compliance can save you time and resources in the long run. I've always discovered one thing. Many people claim that they don't have time to do the right thing. But guess what? The day they get penalized, the day they get hit by a fine, suddenly they've got all the time in the world to go to CCMA, to go to SARS, to go to these departments. Then my question is, why didn't you do the right thing in the first place? Doing the right thing in the first place was going to save you from a lot of problems. You could have just chosen to what? To obey the law, to stick to the rules. You'd be in a better position today. So my fellow Toastmasters, don't ever say I don't have time for these things. It's important to prioritize just keeping the law and doing things the right way. And then this one, our tax authority is called Zimbra. I remember one time when I spoke to a business owner, they say to me, Zimbra gives you a one year rule. I want to say when it comes to compliance, these authorities never give you time. They never give you 1 year to just do the wrong thing and then do the right thing later. Understanding tax rules, familiarizing yourself with tax regulations is very crucial. So what I want to encourage you is that don't ever say you've been given a 1 year rule. There is nothing like a 1 year rule. You must stick to the law as soon as possible. Don't ever say to yourself, I've got all the time in the world. I'm playing safe. I'm doing things the right way. I'll worry about compliance later on. Just do things from day one. And what I've often discovered as a consultant is that whenever you do choose to do something right the first time, it saves you from a lot of problems. You'll find out that as you continue to do business, compliance at a smaller level is better because as you do it at a smaller level, as a business continues to grow or as organization continues to grow, it's easier for you to gravitate from starting small to growing and becoming big. So there's nothing like a 1 year rule. A 1 year rule doesn't exist. It only exists in your mind. The number 6, I can apply for exemption. I'm a single mom. I remember once had this experience with one client who said to me that they wanted to get an exemption because they're a single mom. They don't want to comply. I want to say the law is the law. Personal circumstances don't exempt businesses from following the law. It doesn't matter your circumstance or situation. Make it a point that you stick to compliance because the law is the law. You are not going to be given a special exemption because of your situation. Everyone is supposed to honor the law. The blind, the white, the black, depending, doesn't matter your color, your present situation. You must stick to the law. Then number 7, everyone is not telling the truth in Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world around you. It's important to become an ethical business person. Ethics matter. Being truthful and transparent is essential for business success. Make it a point that you are truthful and transparent. When you're truthful and transparent, you save yourself of a lot of problems. You don't need to run around, you don't need to cheat your way around the system, because you know what you are saying on the ground is what is exactly in the books. But if you look at everyone else and say, because everyone else is cheating, I'm going to cheat, you are putting yourself in a position where you're going to frustrate yourself as a business person. Ethics matter. Being truthful, being transparent is important. It is essential for business success. Then number 8, there is something called creative accounting. This is my notion on creative accounting. Creative accounting isn't an option. Manipulating financial records can lead to severe consequences. Listen, manipulating creative accounting only exists in one area. It only exists in your dreams and in a textbook. In life, always make it a point that you do things properly. If you don't do things properly, you'll find yourself in a difficult situation. And then number 9, our environment is not friendly to those who keep the law. Compliance is safest. Keeping the law is the best way to secure a business future. So I want to encourage you that regardless of what you feel, make it a point that you stick and keep to the law. When you keep to the law, you feel safe, you can sleep at night, you don't have to worry about someone coming in to arrest you. You don't have to walk around the streets worrying about someone arresting you because you are on the right side of the law. And the last misconception that we have is that I didn't know, no one told me. Ignorance of the law isn't an excuse. Business owners are responsible for understanding and complying with the relevant laws and regulations. One person once said to me that whenever someone says that it's not their fault, they didn't know, ignorance of the law is never really an excuse. So my encouragement is that make it a point that you comply, because whenever you are caught, there is nothing like you didn't know the law. The fact that you didn't know the law is your own problem. You'll get arrested and you'll find yourself in prison. And then these are the key takeaways. Compliance is essential for business. So if you're running a business right now, I want you to understand that compliance is essential for all businesses, regardless of size. Number 2, understanding and following tax regulations can simplify the process. So make it a point that you understand the regulations that are within your business and stick to them. And then the next one, ethics and transparency are crucial for business success. Then my next point, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. By prioritizing compliance and understanding its importance, understanding the importance of ethics and transparency, business in Zimbabwe your business can be built to become a strong and very sound business. So my encouragement to us Toastmasters tonight is that as we endeavor to become great speakers and great professionals, the importance of ethics and doing the right thing must be of paramount importance in life, because regardless of what you are saying, compliance is the name of the game. Things have to be done properly, whether you like it or not, and you cannot come and say, I didn't know, or it's too complicated for me, or I'll be given a 1-year rule, or the world will be favorable to me because of my present circumstance. The world that we live in is a cruel and a harsh world. It doesn't care or mind where you're coming from. If you don't stick to the law, you will find yourself one day arrested and sitting in prison. And it will be embarrassing for a Toastmaster of your stature to be found in prison because you failed to keep the law. Why did you fail to keep the law? Because it's just too complicated. It's just too difficult. Listen, the world that we live in doesn't care about your situation. Just do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you can sleep at night. You won't even fear anyone walking into your house to repossess your property or take away the money that you have made. So my encouragement to you is make it a point that you comply. If you are struggling to comply, reach out to me. I'll help you understand and break it down and make it simple. Thank you, Toastmasters. I sign out. Ngobile Dube. compliance specialist.
Woohoo! Oh, wow. I honestly felt like I was in a lecture room and I just got reminded as you were speaking that the tax season in South Africa is open. So please comply to the tax season. You do not want to find yourself on the wrong side of law. It can be very daunting. Trust me. I made a mistake in the last financial year and it almost cost me my money. So it is very important to stay compliant. Thank you so much, Ngobile, for that very insightful presentation. I sure do hope that you have a lot of us reaching out to you because you sure do sound like somebody who knows exactly what he is talking about. Thank you so much once more. As I repeat, one of the things that you said, if you can do the right thing, or if you do the right thing, you can sleep better at night. And I really do hope that we all are looking forward to having very peaceful nights. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, visitors, that brings us to the very last of our speakers for the night. It has been a very jam-packed program as the President promised earlier on. Our theme, just to remind you, is the big night at the movie. Big night at the movie. Now I would like to call on Nompumelelo Manzini, our timer, to give us the time for the speeches. Madam Timer, if you could please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. This is Toastmaster Khabu standing in for Toastmaster Nompumelelo. And I'll give you the times as far as the speeches were articulated, starting with Toastmaster Ayanda. And I also need to mention that our speakers did very well with time. Toastmaster Ayanda did his speech in 5 minutes and 28 seconds. It was an icebreaker of a maximum of 6. That was well done. Toastmaster Walter, the time was 6 minutes and 39 seconds. It was said to be an icebreaker, and I recorded it for 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm taking it as still fine as well because they said it's a second part or something. And Toastmaster Wandile delivered his speech in 6 minutes and 28 seconds, which was also fine according to time. And our last speaker, Toastmaster Nobile, I was informed your speech should be at a minimum 20 minutes, maximum 25 minutes. You took 13 minutes and 47 seconds. Your speech, it is then under delivered, and you could have just added 2-3 more slides to at least make it to the 20 minutes. That will be the time report for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Khabu. I do apologize. I made notes somewhere else and I forgot that you had taken the place of Nompumelelo. But you may adopt the name as your new name. Maybe it means something. Thank you very much for that and congratulations to our speakers. Now, every blockbuster needs a critic who sharpens them just a little bit on those rough edges. The next segment is meant, I think I'm way ahead of myself, I do apologize. We have the next segment is the most entertaining segment, most entertaining, I would say. It is the big night at the movies, and I do hope that you'll be entertained by the next segment. I'd like to now call on Ms. Noluthando Mukwena, who is our table topic master. Noluthando, please come on the virtual stage, describe your role, and let us know what your table topic session will be consisting of. Thank you very much, Noluthando. Please take the virtual podium.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the red carpet of Table Topics. Tonight's theme is Big Night at the Movies. And just like in the world of film, you don't always get a script in life. Sometimes you just have to improvise. And that's exactly what Table Topics is about, thinking on your feet and delivering a star-worthy performance with no rehearsal. I'll be your director this evening, and I'm casting you in the leading role of quick thinking and confident speaking. So the instructions are as follows. I will call up a speaker one at a time, give them a movie-inspired question or prompt, and they'll have 1 to 2 minutes to share their story, opinion, or point of view. I'm just going to share my screen. Please confirm that you see my screen.
With your screen.
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay, so we will start with Walter, who is our first volunteer. Walter, could you please pick a movie genre out of the 5 that you see here? So we've got action, comedy, romance, animation, and thriller.
Okay, choose action.
Action, my favorite. Okay, so your question for action is, so you're part of an elite team. What role do you play? For example, are you the brains, the leader, the muscles, the tech expert, or the wild card?
So can you repeat the question?
You're part of an elite team, so it's inspired by action. So this is an elite team. What role would you play? So you know in your action movies where you have those team maybe saving the world, what role do you play in that team? Are you the brains, like the leader? Are you the muscles, the tech expert, or the wild card? What would you contribute in that team?
Good evening, fellow
What?
Toastmasters. Yes, Table Toastmaster. If I was part of an action movie where we got a team of individuals, we have the brains, we have the muscle, and we have the tech guy, which role would I take? Now, this is a very difficult question to answer because every time that I watch those movies, I always try to imagine what would I, in which position would I be? I usually see movies where we have this team, which is very structured like this, the way that you just explained. We have someone that goes out in the field. We have someone that stays in the office, and this person that stays in the office is the computer guy. And it's difficult because I do like to go in the field. I like to go there beating those bad guys and kicking them in the butt. But I understand that I have this profession, which is being a software developer, and I really enjoy being in the officer while my friends or my colleagues are on the field. I like both positions. I'm a boxer player. I'm a boxer practitioner. At the same time, a software developer. So it's very difficult. So I would say that I would be a wild card. Thank you, and back to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you so much, Walter, for that. And then we will move on to our second speaker, which is Galalelo. Would you please pick a movie genre between comedy, romance, animation, and thriller? Did you hear me?
Yes, I
Sorry
can
about
hear
that.
you.
Could you please pick? Okay.
Yes, I'll go for number 2, comedy.
Comedy. Thank you. So, my question for you, Galalelo, is who in your family or just generally in your life would make the best comedy movie character, and tell us why?
Oh, thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. I believe the one who will make the most suitable comedian in the family or actress is my 9-year-old daughter. One day we're having a conversation and she says to me, Mommy, you know, people that are cheating, they're so cruel. And I'm like, I paused. I'm like, where do you get that? It's like, girl, she's addressing me as a girl. She's like, girl, I'm watching Diamond. I'm like, what's Diamond? It's YouTube videos, mommy. You don't know about them. Like, okay, I would like to watch one with you one day. It's like, okay. And she says to me, you know, mommy, when you pick a boyfriend, you must pick the one who's handsome and who's making money in dollars. And I asked, why in dollars? She says, I just like dollars. But it's okay because your boyfriend is my daddy. I know he'll never cheat on you. And anyway, whether he makes money in rands or dollars, it doesn't matter because it's my daddy. So that's who I will pick to represent us as a comedian in the family because my daughter has always has something to make us laugh and jubilant. And I always carry my box of tissues and my bottle of water when I sit around her because she can say anything that will make us laugh and think at the same time. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Kgalelelo. Well done there. I'm going to move on to our third speaker, not to waste time, and that is Abhijit. Abhijit, could you please pick a movie genre between romance, animation, and thriller? Abhijit, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Okay, could you pick a movie genre between romance, animation, and thriller?
I would take in romance.
Romance, okay. So, Abhijit, this has been a debate for so many years. Do you believe in love at first sight, or is that just a movie myth to you?
Well, all these movies that is being shown on the screen are the ones which has made my life so very special. When it comes to me highlighting the fact whether love at first sight does happen, I would say a yes. Now you might be wondering, love at first sight can actually happen with anyone. It could be the love of your life, your better half, your spouse, or it could be your baby child whose first face that you see with a smiling one makes your life even more special. Or for that matter, let me take a reverse direction to be placed myself as that small little boy who first saw his mother in her arms, and that was the love at first sight. Well, eventually, the moment that emotional connect happens, love at first sight is bound to happen. For me, out of all these, I had many love at first sights. And many a times when I first went to a vendor and saw an entire small truck full of mangoes, it was love at first sight with those mangoes as well. When I saw my mother, it was love at first sight the moment I was born. When I first stepped into college after my intermediates, it was love at first sight with a beautiful girl who just walked in into a different stream altogether. When I passed out and I got into a corporate setup, it was love at first sight with my colleague. Now you might be wondering what is happening. So many love at first sight, and of course, the movie that's shown there, Titanic, indeed, that was love at first sight too, because Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet are the superstars that I truly love because of their acting skills. So, here, my friends, love at first sight doesn't really mean it has to be a one single person. It can happen with anyone at any given time. It's just that you need to be loyal to your feelings and to the person whom you fall in love at very first sight. Thank you so much once again for blooming that love in me, Table Topic Master, and I pass it on back to you.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. Wow, you just made me realize, looked at it from a different point of view. I've actually experienced love at first sight multiple times in my life. Thank you so much. We'll move on to our fourth volunteer, or Bumi rather. Bumi, please pick a movie genre between animation and thriller.
Okay. Is comedy off the cards? It's been chosen.
It's been chosen already. The first three, we only have animation and thriller left.
All right, I will go for animation.
Animation. Okay. If you were granted 3 wishes by the genie from Aladdin, what would you wish for? And how do you think those wishes would change your life?
Okay. If I was granted 3 wishes, the first wish would be to rewind time, to go back in time and to relive my life again. I think I would make, now that I know better, I would make better choices. The second wish would be to travel. I'd like to experience a lot of places, not just only going to places through reading and those experiences imagining, but actually having the experience of being in that place. The fourth wish that I would, oh no, the third wish. The third wish that I'd have is to have as many wishes as I could possibly have, to have an unending supply of wishes where I could then at any time add on to onto my life anything that I wanted. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Beautifully said. Thank you very much to our Madam VPM. Madam Timer, I don't know, do we have time for one more? Or are we 2 over?
I'm not sure how much was dedicated to this, but I think you can finish up with the last volunteer.
Thank you so much. We'll try to be quick. Dr. Sibu, you have thriller, unfortunately. So my question to you is, tell us about a time where you think that you were the villain in someone's story.
Wow. My goodness. That's a trick one because I think all of us, it's hard to admit that we can actually be an enemy or a villain in someone else's life. We always see ourselves as heroes or the starring, if I can use the term of the movies. Good gracious me. I've been a bad guy most of my life to friends, to family, because I think as the last born at home, I felt like I wasn't given enough attention. So I would try to misbehave just so to get attention sometimes with means that I wouldn't even approve today. In other words, let me basically take it home so that I can tell stories that I will remember easily. Like I said, as the last born, growing up in a very strict family with strict parents, I felt like I was not allowed to voice out my opinions or my thoughts. So what I would do, I was just misbehave, especially to my father. Why would I want to do that? Because he was the authority. Everyone would listen to him, but if anyone else would say something to him or against him, he will stop you somewhere halfway through your sentence. So I figured, if this is the person who gets the most attention in the family, why can't I just make him be like a bad guy in the family by, as I'm not proud to say it now, by painting him as a bad character in the family. Daddy, you never buy me sweets. These would be serious moments in the family where we would be having dinner, for instance, and then that would get everyone's attention. But in those moments, I wouldn't be proud after saying those things, but they would make what I wanted to get their attention. That's just the tip of the iceberg, fellow Toastmasters. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sibo. I will stop sharing now. Bravo to all our stars tonight. So whether you gave a jubilant monologue or a comedic punchline, an inspiring scene, you played your parts like a pro. Now let's give a standing ovation or at least a round of applause to all our speakers. And I will pass the mic back to our Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Woo-hoo! I just say that segment was bound to be the most exciting of the night, following the speeches, of course, which were very exciting as well. Now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, Nolutando was taking on the role of Table Topics Master for the very first time. If we may unmute and give her a round of applause for that very exciting segment.
Wow. Po, 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 po.
Oh, indeed.
With all those characters mentioned, I still can't figure out what role I would want to play. I don't know if I would want to be the Rose. It's like, oh, Jack, Jack. I'll probably drown right along with Jack because I cannot swim to save my own life. I'm trying not to laugh through this, but yeah, I have a feeling that I would play something that probably against the kind of character that I already have. Probably a villain. How about that? I don't know how I'd get away with being a villain, considering that I do not know how to even hurt a fly. With that said, our next team is going to give us evaluations. They are not here to throw popcorn at any of the stuff we've done tonight, but they are here to sharpen our script, hopefully for the next box office hit. Now, Madam General Evaluator, Anna, if you may please take the virtual stage and reintroduce your team or call on your team to give feedback of how this show was run tonight. Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator of the evening.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, for the jubilant conduct thus far, and I'm happy to call upon my team, first starting with our speech evaluators, and then going on to our grammarian, our counter, and finally the timer. So without further ado, I'll call upon our first evaluator, and I do apologize, my agenda has a lot of scribbles and arrows and things going across, but if my memory serves me correct, it is our DTM, Apijit Roy. I hope I'm correct. Sir, are you the first evaluator?
Yeah, that's right.
Sir, can you please step onto this the podium, virtual podium, and deliver your evaluation? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator Anna Costa. My speaker, Toastmaster Anda, delivered the first speech of his lifetime. A speech which was not just special to him, but also he ensured that it becomes special for us too. To listen to his story, to listen to the journey that he traveled all the way from a small little village to a big city of Johannesburg. He ensured that we all connect with him through the way of rhetoric, through the way of anecdotes, that he brought in the elements of a very emotional quotient, effectively starting from where he stood and facing all the challenges with his little son proving to be autistic, then moving on to the different other life struggles which we all could relate to. Important factors where Toastmaster Ayanda nailed it is that he made sure that even if it's a first speech, he creates that impression. He creates that aura in the minds of people sitting around him. And those audience, those people who were sitting around him, are the virtual Toastmasters and guests who all listened to him and ensured that we all respect the fact of where he stands today. Indeed, it was not just his wife who believed more than he believed himself, but now he ensured through the way of his speech that we all believe him in too. We all believe that it's just not about that first speech which he delivered to connect with us. We are very sure that we believe that he would also have that connection built in his future speeches as well. The door to become not just a Toastmaster but also a powerful orator is wide open. And I'm very sure that Toastmaster Ayanda will really have a lot of sunlight coming into those doors for him to rise and shine. In terms of what I feel that probably could have been slightly more added is very minimal. Why would I even say that? Is because as a first speech, it's all the speakers who try to make and create an impression, which he ideally did. However, just for the betterment of future speeches, Toastmaster Ayanda, it's a virtual setup that you are part of at the moment. And eye contact is something that anyone and everyone would try to look at. You're such a wonderful storyteller. You're such a wonderful speaker. You speak from your heart. You connect with people. Why don't you make sure that we all connect with you as well? And that connection can happen through the way of an eye to eye. Have that eye contact. And I'm very sure in the future speeches, this one small element to start with can have a great impact in just not in the hearts of people, but also it stays away in the minds of people as well. Toastmaster Ayanda, my best wishes to you for your future speeches, and I'm sure you will have a great future in terms of great becoming a good public speaker. So all the best, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Abhijit, for that invite. Ayanda will definitely take part and also apply to his second speech. Thank you, sir. And onwards and forwards with our red carpet appearance. And over to you, Dr. Sibo, our second evaluator for this evening. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam GE. The first person I evaluated was Walter. So Walter, in a very short evaluation, I'm glad I could hear from our timer that you were doing your second pathway. So this was a second icebreaker for you. So I was a bit more like at the end of the day after I heard that, because I was like, no, there is no way someone who's so composed and so confident and flowing without even needing notes, you're speaking like that as a seasoned Toastmaster, yet you are doing your icebreaker. So there's a lot of things to say that are positive, but since you are a seasoned Toastmaster, you've been a VPE before, you've been you're a current president. So I'm just gonna maybe make suggestions just to bring you back to the basics. I'm not gonna dwell much on the great things that you did, specifically the fact that you stood and you showed that the power sphere standing and using the hand gestures to the maximum, perfect eye contact, and so forth and so forth, the pauses. So that was lovely. I'm not going to dwell much on that, but I want to bring you back to the basics in terms of understanding the purpose or the objective of a project. Icebreaker is all about understanding the basic structure of a speech as well as introducing yourself to the audience. You might have done an icebreaker in your club, but in a different club, especially here, I think it would have been best to tell us your history or your story. Where are you from? Who are you? Where did you grow up? Like as Ayanda did in his icebreaker. And also just to get to know you better, things that you enjoy doing in your spare time. So that could have made us okay to say, okay, this is how an icebreaker should be like. And I felt like it was also too perfect for an icebreaker. So always leave a room like for mistakes somewhere, somehow, especially since we always try to entice people who are not Toastmasters, but want to join, they're suffering from this fear of public speaking. So if it's that perfect, someone who wants to join might feel like, this is not for me because I cannot speak like that. So it's just a way of giving, the evaluator something to critique on. But if it's that perfect, we just look for something that we cannot find. But that's why I'm very focused now to say, okay, please ensure next time if you're delivering your icebreaker in your third pathway, just ensure that you give us from the beginning, like your life story, where were you born, where you're currently based, what do you do for a living, can tell us your life from high school, what did you study at university, and what are you currently doing in terms of your job. But I think you've mentioned as part of that, what you did instead, you gave us a beautiful masterclass in terms of leadership principles that we must all adhere to in Toastmasters, because this is where leaders are made. And as a president, I'm sure you are living by those principles and from those stories that you have learned. Otherwise, thank you, sir, for sharing your story with us. We appreciate it so much. And I think that's my evaluation for you. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, Dr. Sibo, for that inspiring evaluation. And now on to our third evaluator, Galalelo. Are you present and ready to go forth with your evaluation?
Yes, Madam General Evaluator, I am here and ready to deliver my evaluation. Thank you so much. I was evaluating Mr. Wandile Moyo, and he shared under the theme building a social media presence. One thing or two things which I would like to just remind Wandile, I mean, he's on level 4, and perhaps not just Mr. Wandile, but all Toastmasters, that on level 4, we still need to deliver our speech when it's better when we are standing, so that we are able to show those body expressions. So I missed that. I think I saw, even if you were standing, but I couldn't see your body properly. And I think you could have delivered the speech, even giving it an opportunity to make us even more interested and drawn to you. The other thing which I missed is the vocal variety. I think with time we tend to forget, as seasoned Toastmasters, that we need to keep on, that enhances our speeches. We need to keep on doing that with our speeches. What I did love though, and I liked, and I believe most of us learned that today from you, one delay, is that you took us through a journey, which was also one of the purpose of this, or this project that you needed to deliver, is that you took us through your experience of what you used to do on social media and what you are currently doing now. And you mentioned like purpose-driven posts. Is it, do we just press a share button, or our posts are really purpose-driven? I also like the transitioning from posting, just from posting to posting with purpose, that I love so much. What I also liked as well is that your speech had so much clarity, and we could follow you. I followed you throughout. I didn't miss you, except the two that I mentioned. What I also wish you could have done in the end, I put it on my notes here, is that I wish you could have shared your social media handles so that we follow you and learn on how to post with purpose. Like the other speaker who said, if we need any compliance, we need assistance with compliance, we can contact him. So where I'm sitting, I'm like, how do I reach out to Wandile's social media handles so that I learn on how to post with purpose? So I think that could have even made us as Toastmasters or guests to be more jubilant if you had shared that with us. I would be the first one to go and follow you so that I learn on how to post with purpose. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator, thank you so much. And please do send me your evaluation again, Wandile, so that I complete it and send it back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Speech Evaluator Gagalelo. And now on to our fourth evaluator, Dr. Sibo, who evaluates Nkobile. Sir, onto this virtual podium, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam GE. And yes, Mobile, wow, what a masterclass. You know what? I could tell our timer will catch you there in terms of under-delivering because you're given 20 to 25 minutes. The way it was so captivating and so relevant to all of us who wanted to hear more. I wish we could have added indeed 2 or 3 more slides and expand or maybe real-life stories of what had happened for people who do not comply with the taxman. But anyhow, I would like to commend you on these following things and then make one suggestion or maybe 2 suggestions. What was interesting about your presentation is the fact that it was structured. You gave us 10 common misconceptions in a very structured way, 10 common misconceptions about people who try to avoid paying their dues or their taxes, but you made it a point with your passion, with your enthusiasm. And I guess that also has to do with you having to be a consultant. You know the consequences of those things, of having to avoid by using those excuses or those 10 common misconceptions. This was captivating from the beginning until the end. That's why we needed more from you. So what I would suggest is, even though you spoke about a topic that is more relevant to people who are working or even businesses, it's always important to also consider, let's say, students who are not yet working and give us like an overview of the whole tax returns process, like the nitty-gritties, because you still had a lot of time. Just give us some basics of what happens as soon as you start working, not necessarily about businesses. Of course, the topic was about on businesses, but give us maybe a master class, because this is something that we are not taught, especially if you didn't do accounting, I can imagine, in high school. But for students who are not into that field of commerce, the importance of knowing, the importance of returning tax and so forth and so forth. But overall, back to the purpose of the speech was to learn how to facilitate an online meeting or how to run a webinar. What I would suggest is also to buy more time, is to leave room for questions. If you spoke for 13 minutes, at least for another 10 minutes, you can say, okay, now I'm done with the formal speech. It's time to take questions based on those 10 misconceptions I've presented. That way you can interact. I'm sure a lot of people could have had questions or maybe comments in your speech. That's how you'd buy time. So I think if we could have done that, whenever you're facilitating something, always leave a room for questions or for Q&A. That way you will answer more questions based on what you have presented. I think overall, we are very grateful that you took your time, and I'm glad that this meeting was recorded, because it's something that we'll need to refer back to basically know we're supposed to do the right thing based on ethics, on morals, and also to avoid going to prison. Thank you so much, and back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evaluator, or sorry, Mr. President, our fourth evaluator for this evening. And yes, for voicing the fact that we would have loved to hear how to keep out of prison. That would have been a wonderful segment too. So thanks for that. And now next, we'll hear from our grammarian and our counter, Toastmaster Malé, who's been tracking use of the word of the day usage, as well as listening for words, quotes, and special language, and counting our ums and ahs they'll be often utter when we don't know what to say next. So over to you, Madam Grammarian and our counter, Malé.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator, and hi again to everyone. So I'm back with my grammarian as well as the R counter report. I will start with the R counter report. This is where we used the clutch words, the arms, and elongated words. So I will start with our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Zintle, I saw you using pauses, which I thought was really good because then it stops you from using the filler words. However, I also picked up that you were elongating words, almost like the, and I saw that happening quite a lot. I'm also doing it. I just did it now with the and. Kalalelo, I also heard you doing the same with the and. I'll check in the chat. And I think this normally happens when we are buying ourselves time or looking into something. So just be mindful of that next time. I also picked up 5 R's, about 6 ums, 3 airs, so it wasn't too bad. I also picked up the use of like. I'm just generalizing now because I'm just also mindful of time. There was also a use of for like. So like is not really a word. It's a word, but you can also avoid using it because sometimes it just becomes a filler and doesn't serve any purpose. So if we can just be mindful of that. And like I said, I picked up a lot of elongated words like to, volunteer, our, volunteers, okay, I, repeat of words. So if we can please be mindful of that. And that covers our R counter report. And now I will move on to the usage of the word of the day, jubilant. Toastmaster Zinhle used the word twice. Ayanda used it once. Sibongiseni used it twice. He used jubilant and he also used triumphant, which is a synonym. So I gave him 2. Khalalelo used it twice. Nompumelelo used it once. And Anacosta used it once. And that's the word of the day. Apologies to anybody who has used it and I did not pick it up. And now moving to improper grammatical uses as well as suggestions. Anna Costa said, an honored guest, it is an honor. So Anna, I would really challenge you to use maybe different words. They were used to, honor was used quite closely to each other. And Ayanda, you just be mindful of your pauses. There was a time where you said I was encouraged by my wife, Dr. Sibongiseni. So it sounded like you were saying that Dr. Sibongiseni is your wife. So that might have been a bit confusing. So just be mindful of that. Yes, nobody was safe tonight. And Walter, I picked up maybe American use of language. You kept on saying everybody quite a lot. So I would really challenge you just to maybe say everyone, especially in a formal setting. And Dr. Sibo said, in this meeting, ending 2 consecutive sentences. So Dr. Sibo, I would challenge you again to also maybe find different words to use there. You also said, and so forth and so forth. There, I would suggest you can just say, and so on, or just one and so forth is sufficient. Otherwise, it's repetitive. And there was use of virtual podium throughout the course of the meeting. I particularly love this, and I would have put it under a list of quotes and sayings that I liked. However, because of the repeated use, I would challenge the Toastmasters to start looking for a new term. Abhijit, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. You said baby child when you were giving your evaluation, and I think the correct use there would be just a child. And many love at first sights, and there a suggestion would be to say, or the correct use would have been many instances of love at first sight. Then now moving on to quotes, thoughts, words, and sayings that I particularly liked. There's a whole lot, so I will just skim through them. Zinhle mentioned taking the reins, and we could almost see that, taking the charge, remain politically correct, acquired power, leading with presence, insightful. She used it quite a lot, and it was very correct usage of the word, which was very impactful, and also said it can be daunting, which I found that it was quite used quite impactfully. Ayanda said village boy with wide eyes. That was very descriptive and a very clever use of the language. Flipping burgers, we could almost see you doing that. We were there with you at McDonald's. Fast, hot, and greasy. Very clever use of adjectives. Packed my bags and boarded. And the one that I particularly liked this evening was from you, Ayanda, with cold wind of the city biting my face. It was almost as though I could feel it. And that's how words can be impactful. Sbongiseni said twofold when he was explaining the purpose of the icebreaker. He also used anecdote together with abijit, which is a very interesting word. I also learned it today. I've always heard it, but I did not know the definition. It means a short, interesting, or amusing short story about a real incident, person, often used to illustrate a point. I thought that was quite good use of the word. Dr. Sbongisen also used captivating. Walter used jaw dropped. I can see the promised land. Wandile said sharing with intention, from posting to purpose, which was his title, and I really loved it. Spontaneity, he used safeguarding my privacy and add to the noise. That was lovely. Mobile said reputable, which is a very impactful word, truthful and transparent, creative accounting, on the right side of the law, endeavor, paramount importance, stature. Nolutando said myth, and she also said bravo, and with a lot of emotion. And Nompumelelo said unending supply. Abijit said nailed it, creates that aura to become a powerful orator, betterment of future speeches. Anna Costa said red carpet appearance, Halalelo seasons Toastmasters. The list goes on. Those were just some of the phrases that I particularly loved as somebody who's also learning to use vocal variety, and I will definitely be using these in one of my next speeches coming up next. So with that, I end both my reports and I hand over back to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Evaluator, or rather, should I say, grammarian and R-counter. That was a very insightful report, and we are very grateful for it. Now, it is important to get your message across in the allotted time and for the meeting to run according to the agenda and schedule. So our timer, Gabo, will you please now report what you've done or what we've done with the time? And my apologies if I've mispronounced your name. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. I was given a new name. It's Nompumelole, so I see you struggling with Khabu. Let's switch to that one. Okay, so in terms of table topics, 3 Toastmasters did well on time. That was Toastmaster Walter with 1 minute and 33 seconds. Toastmaster Halalelo, 1 minute, 31 seconds. And Toastmaster Mpumi, 1 minute and 7 seconds. Toastmaster Sibo took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We need to give our answer in 2 minutes as far as table topic is concerned. However, we do have a 30 seconds buffer, so you wouldn't have been disqualified if we were in a competition. However, Toastmaster Abijit, you took 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which means you would have been actually disqualified, and I would advise you to look at the timer. As far as the evaluations are concerned, I know we like singing praises and we are going on and on about how beautiful people did. However, it affects on the timing. Those that did it well within time, which was 3 minutes that was given. We have Toastmaster Sibo in the evaluating the second speaker. You took 3 minutes and 1 second. Toastmaster Halalelo, you took 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Toastmaster Sibo, again, in your fourth evaluation, you took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Toastmaster Abhijit, once more, you took 3 minutes and 41 seconds, which was beyond the time allocated. And what I've also noted as far as time is concerned is that we started at 11 minutes past 6. We were trying to get our program in order. It kind of took our time towards starting this meeting. I am not sure how long we have allocated for this meeting. If my assumption is right, it should be at 8 o'clock p.m. If it is, then it means we are now running out of the time. And perhaps what I can suggest is what could have killed us was 4 speakers with 1 speech that was allocated for up to 25 minutes. So we could have sort of used our time well when arranging for those speakers. Otherwise, that is the time report from my side. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer Gabo, for that insightful report on our time. And now for the general evaluation, which is my portion of the evening. The jubilant atmosphere this evening was highly infectious, and I appreciated all the participants' positive vibes. Our meeting started at 6:11, when initially it was postponed from 6 to 6:05. We started with 13 participants and we end with 12. We opened our meeting room, or the announcement was done 1 minute to 6, when usually this club, our club, does do it about 15 to 20 minutes well in advance. So there has been a little hiccup there. And what I suggest is to put it on our Visionary Readers WhatsApp, as well as the participant roles and meetings WhatsApp as well. The hitch was mainly because 2 speakers and 1 evaluator was missing initially. Our VPE did send apologies ahead of time. Unfortunately, we did not have the phone numbers of those that were missing. And to curtail this in the future, it is imperative whoever introduces or brings these members to the meetings to invite them to our meetings WhatsApp group, so that we can, with one hit, inform everyone we are ready and ask where they are. Our president, he spoke succinctly and welcomed participants warmly and set a relaxed and friendly tone. Well done. Our Toastmaster, she stepped in seamlessly when we had a little hitch between the second speaker and evaluator, and while they were sorting out the introduction, she remained theme loyal and told us about a children's soda pops, jig, and movie. So that was very entertaining. Thank you so much. She did a wonderful job. Our grammarian, our counter, beautiful introduction, articulately spoken, word of the day was verbally introduced as well as placed in the chat with a sentence example. As our counter, during her report, she respected our time and generalized word crutches for her our counter role. So that was also excellently produced and articulated. Our timer, well prepared and eager, even though it was a last-minute appointment as timer. So well done to her. Our speakers all spoke well and with authority. Grammar and Oscar goes to Walter Sono for swapping from backup speech evaluator to second speech. His delivery was unexpected and we enjoyed it thoroughly. Table topics, Nolutando, you led a very entertaining portion. World-class red carpet standard. Well done. You also picked the impromptu speakers ahead of time, which saved us a lot of time. Evaluators all gave invaluable feedback. I have to mention DTM Abhijit Roy, who adapted very well last minute from a speaker change. And he also took the opportunity during that swap to introduce himself and use the relevant Toastmasters credentials to introduce himself to us. So we appreciate that. The atmosphere turned out to be relaxed and friendly as promised by our Dr. Sibo as president of the evening. And basically, we had a lovely, lovely time. So thanks so much to all our participants. And this includes my general evaluation segment. So over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Oh, wow. We are so close to the end now. Thank you so much, Madam GE. I think in the interest of time, seeing that we are 8 minutes into the meeting, I won't allow the visitors and guests to share their thoughts of the meeting, but I have one announcement before I allow our Madam SAA to close us off. The month of August has got 5 Fridays. As most of you know, we meet every 4th and 2nd Friday of the month. So next week, Friday is the 1st, is where we meet as an EXCO team. So I'm not sure as yet if we're going to meet on the 3rd or on the 2nd Friday of the month. It's something that we'll discuss next week, but we'll let you know as soon as we have decided as an EXCO. But I'd like to take this moment to thank everyone who have joined us this evening, and we had a lot of time, a lot of fun together, and we appreciate you coming from different clubs to volunteer and take up roles, participate in various roles, including table topics. Thank you so much. Without your presence, this meeting wouldn't have been a success, and I truly appreciate different masterclasses in our prepared speeches about text, about leadership, you name it. Thank you so much, guys. Special shout out to our first time speaker, our new member, Ayanda Mdunyelo. Thank you, sir, for sharing your story. I enjoyed every moment of your speech. We're truly looking forward to hear more of your speeches. Something about your voice that is really unique. I'm looking forward to hear more in terms of your growth as well. So let me not go further and put pressure on you as well, but I see something in you, and we truly can't wait to see when you blossom into a fully seasoned and experienced Toastmaster, what impact are you going to make not only in your family, in your community, and the entire country, because they say your voice is your power, and your voice is powerful already, and I'm looking forward to hear more nuggets from you. That's it from me, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you so much once again for joining us. I don't know what to say anymore. I will end it from there and head back to our Madam SAS to close us off. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And as with every movie, our night must come to an evening. Thank you very much to the crew, cast, and the shining stars once more. But before we close this curtain, I would like to ask all of us to open our videos so that we can take the final bow in the form of a photo so that we have memories of this evening. I do apologize for stealing your time. I promise.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We can't hear you, Zintle. Okay, now we can hear you again.
And cut.
Oh, and everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.